Father Rene Robert was last seen almost a week ago, and parishioners in Florida, they became concerned when he didn't show up for a prayer service.
Where's he at in the car?
He's in control by that point.
In this video, we investigate a disturbed murderer who ended up killing a priest.
I had a 9mm in the arm, and I shot him.
The year was 2016 in St. Augustine, Florida. Bobby Jean Murray calls 911 to ask them to do a wellness check on the local priest, Father Rene Robert, after she suspected that her brother, Stephen Murray, might have done something to hurt him.
St. Joseph County Sheriff's Office, how can I help you?
I was wondering, can I get somebody to do a wellness check?
Okay, and what's the person's name?
His name is Father Rene Robert. I think my brother might have done something to hurt him and stole his car and everything.
When the police arrive at the priest's house, they quickly find out that the house is empty. Police looked for the priest for 24 hours before coming to the conclusion that they had a missing priest case on their hands. Detectives made contact with the woman who cleaned his apartment. They got a key, and detectives went inside the apartment. The priest's dead body was not there. There were no obvious signs of a struggle, and there was no blood. This made detectives believe the priest could have just up and left. Another day goes by, and it is now 48 hours since anyone has seen Father Rene Robert. Detectives decide to interview the 911 caller who tipped them off.
My brother is Stephen Murray.
Okay.
My brother got out. He got released from jail. And Father Rene called me when he got out. My brother had already contacted him for money and rides and stuff like that.
Okay.
Bobby told the detectives that Father Rene had become involved with troubled individuals who had been in jail. Father Rene was known in the local community for trying to help these people recover and steer them down the right path. Stephen was one of the people the priest tried to help. Stephen was a drug addict who had just come out of jail, and shortly after, speaking with his sister, police spotted a blue sedan matching the description of Father Rene's missing car being driven recklessly on the highway.
Behind the Signal 8 vehicle, we got the Corolla, blue in color. We're on 207 headed towards 95, and looks like he doesn't want to stop.
We're talking 115, 120 miles per hour on the I-95. This is an extremely high-stress situation.
All right, we're in the construction zone. We're going to have to slow it down, guys. 54, we lost him in the construction. We all backed off.
Losing him like that must have been both frustrating and upsetting for the officers, because whoever was driving that vehicle was a critical piece to the riddle of where Father Rene is located. The detective's next move is going to Steve Murray's last known location, his dad, Bobby. Bobby was home alone. Detectives told him that they needed to get to his son, Stephen. Bobby's response was not helpful. He said he couldn't help them locate his son.
Tell me, what do you know as far as your son's activities for the past 3 or 4 days?
He came to the house last night. We walked up to the house. He was drinking. He left the house about 4 hours ago. When he left, he took my phone with him.
Any idea where he went to?
No.
Okay.
He didn't say. He just told me he'd be back in a little while.
Detectives run a GPS tracking program to find Bobby Murray's cell phone. It pings on a tower in Aiken, South Carolina. A SWAT team starts working on finding Stephen in the woods, and that's when they come upon Father Rene's vehicle. As the SWAT team is approaching the vehicle, they find Stephen Murray behind the wheel. Apparently, Steve detects some motion or light in his rearview mirror. He puts the car in drive and speeds off. But a stressed-out Steve ended up crashing not far down the road, so he starts running. Steve has now basically fled into a jungle. They do a thorough search of the forest, but no trace of Steve is found. They believe he might have climbed a tree. After several hours of constant pressure and perimeter in this area, searching with different teams, dogs, and helicopters, they finally find Stephen. Detectives bring Stephen Murray straight to the interrogation room.
But how fast were you driving to lose all the police cars?
Wasn't driving.
I'm not going to argue with you about it. We know you were, because you told your dad, you told your sister. You know, we didn't just magic our ways up here.
So you have his car. We haven't heard or seen him since. How does that look?
I'm a law-abiding citizen. Man, I like smoking a cigarette, man. Y'all asking a lot of questions. If there was something I could do to help you, you know what I'm saying, do that, I would.
After more than 6 hours of interrogation, the interrogators become extremely concerned. Stephen Murray may be on the verge of asking for an attorney, which means that a confession is becoming less likely by the minute. But in a situation like this, you cannot give up. Father Rene Robert has now been missing for 5 days. Police extradited Stephen back to Florida from South Carolina, where he was arrested, and they booked him in his active arrest warrant for aggravated fleeing and eluding. At St. Johns County Jail, they monitor his phone calls in hopes of gaining more information about the priest's whereabouts. And that's when they come across a very interesting phone call with Bobby Jean Murray, Stephen's sister.
Hey, girl.
Hey,
What you doing?
we're going through hell out here that we don't even deserve. People talking to us, talking about that we used to help you cover up stuff and all, and we probably know where Father Rene is.
I'm sorry, Gene. I mean, hell, what do you want me to do? I mean, tell me.
I just want you to be honest with them, regardless of the situation. This ain't gonna be over with until they find Father Rene.
I love you with all my heart.
Soon after this phone call, Stephen requested to speak with the detectives, but he did not say why. Let's find out.
All right. It's your show, brother. We're just here to watch. Tell us.
Right. Well, the first part of the story I told y'all where Father Rene picked me up and I was going to pay him the money, which was true. I picked him up after I got back from the dope trap down off 90. And we went up to South Carolina. You know, I said, I want to see my kids.
Did he say he didn't want to go?
He said no point that he didn't want to go. He just said, okay. I mean, I wasn't aggressive with it or anything, you know. I wanted to go see my kids. Well,
Where's he at in the car?
he's in the trunk by that point.
He's in the trunk. Okay. Is he tied up or anything like that?
No, sir.
How'd you get him to get in the trunk?
That's him too.
Did you say or else?
No, I didn't say or else. I said, I need you to get in the trunk, Father Rene. He said, okay. Climb right in there, you know. I helped him in there and told him, I said, just do what I tell you to and everything's going to be okay, you know. And, you know, I'm talking to him, you know, and he's still telling me, you know, that I'm in great trouble and that I'm never going to get away with this. And I'm thinking, you know, like, oh, man, you know, maybe I am in a great deal of trouble. Well, he's steady talking to the trunk, you know. He's hollering like I use a bathroom. And I said, okay, you know, I'm going to let you out in just a second, you know. And so I stopped and let him out to use the bathroom. I had a 9mm and I shot him.
Okay. So, like, me and you are looking at each other right now, you shot him like that?
It was more of from the side. And then he fell and I shot him in the head.
Okay.
And left.
Stephen has now formally confessed to the murder of Father Rene Robert, but he still needs to tell them where the body is. Detectives ride with Stephen to Georgia. He leads them to a heavily wooded area, and suddenly he asks them to pull over, and when they do, the detectives notice a bunch of flies take off. The flies draw their attention in that direction, and that's when they see Father Rene's dead body. In October 2017, 30-year-old Stephen Murray pleaded guilty to the murder of Father Rene Robert. They wanted to give him the death penalty, but this was his actual sentence.
Question is, are you voluntarily